Going on, guys? Just streaming to YouTube today. We're gonna wait for some people to join in here. I appreciate you guys joining. Give you guys a little bit of an update. Hey, Andrew, what's up, buddy? Yeah, I'm glad to be back. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of an update here soon. I apologize for the quality of my camera. I'm running just my laptop camera and audio, just for the simple fact is, I'll talk to you guys a little bit here in a minute what's going on. But I shared this thing out on Facebook. If you guys wouldn't care to do the same thing, I'd appreciate it. But long story short is I'm back. We're going to be talking about why I missed so many weeks and why I can't wait to get back to the task at hand, and that is catching some fish and enjoying some time with you guys. Um, those of you guys that don't know, my dad passed away April 18th, which was 2 Mondays ago, a little over. It's been a really, really tough time for me over the last month, 2 months, really. He's been in and out of the hospital for 6 weeks before, well, I guess 6 weeks roughly, and then passed away of metastatic colon cancer. And it's the things that have come from that. Obviously, him passing is obviously something that's really detrimental to myself. A lot of people that are really close to my dad. It's been an interesting 6 weeks here, 2 months really. I just want to say, first and foremost, thank you guys for the ones that have shown some, some of the most, like, you guys have been there, through the whole thing. And I want to thank you guys for that. And again, if you guys are just joining right now, the thing about it is I'm just live streaming on YouTube right now, just for the simple fact is I don't have my studio up and going. I'm in the process of moving from my house to my dad's house. I did inherit my dad's house. I'm an only son. And, like I said, it's been a tough six weeks to 2 months here on me and Misty and everybody else involved. And there's so much stuff that has come with this that I haven't been out on the lake or been out on the water, and I haven't been fishing. And that's not something that he would want me to do. He enjoyed fishing as much, if not, just as much as I did. So we spent a lot of time on the water, and I'm really thankful for that. But I can't thank you guys out there enough that have supported me through, this whole thing. And it's been a huge deal for me to see that I have so much support on here and on Facebook and things. And it means a lot. I saw people that I didn't even know follow my channel that were giving me support. And it's been a really tough time for me to get through. But I do want to thank you guys for reaching out and contacting me during this tough time. It hasn't gone unnoticed. There's a lot of people out there that have done a lot for me. And I want to thank you guys for that. But I also want you to know that I'm planning on coming back and being better than ever. Been on the water a lot more, been doing these live shows that are going to be a lot better than this one. Obviously, the quality sucks and you're hearing terrible audio because you're hearing my furnace run in the background and all that stuff. But I do want to get on here for a little bit and tell you guys thank you for that. I appreciate it. So I appreciate you guys' time again. Hey, Micah. Yeah, I appreciate it, buddy. And it's people like you guys that are reaching out to me during this tough time that makes me realize that I'm not doing this for myself, more so as doing this as something I love and something my dad wants to be. He would want me to continue doing this. My dad in the hospital, and this is true story. He was in and out of surgeries a bunch. Had a lot of different surgeries over the last 6 weeks of his life. And it never failed that when he come out of surgery, he was always talking to these nurses, whether they be male or female, and he would cut up with these nurses and talk about my YouTube channel. And it never fails. Every time that we come out of this surgery or out of this, the recovery, there would always be a nurse that come up to me and say, "Hey, I subscribed to your YouTube channel because of your dad," which was really, really special. And again, this is something that I know he would want me to continue doing, because he knows I love fishing so much, and he enjoyed it. But one of the things that I've taken from this whole situation is that I am very lucky that I created this YouTube channel as a whole, because I got the opportunity to create these videos, and mostly in part to this thing right here, guys. you guys heard me talk about the Power Stick, the Yolatech Power Stick. I push this thing on my channel a lot because it actually works, and because of this right here, I was able to get some footage in the last couple of years of my dad's life, not knowing that it was his last couple of years. That's stuff that I could go back and watch, and it really brings me a lot of comfort knowing that I have those things captured on video. So meeting you guys out there as icing on the cake, but the ability to know that I have some YouTube footage that is never going to go anywhere, that I can go back and watch my dad catching fish and having an absolute ball. It was an amazing, amazing time, and it's a great, I can't say enough of, how thankful I am of that. What's up, Aaron? Hey, buddy. Looks like you caught him up there in St. Clair really well. I'm going up there this weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend. Me and Kyle and Dusty are going to go up. Try to lean on a few. They're probably going to be on the beds. So anyway, this is the only hat that I have in my house right now because I'm moving over. But my stepbrother is actually starting up his own archery arrow company. And the website is up. There's nothing that you can buy on there, but they will be soon. He will have this first shipment of arrows coming in here soon. It's backwards, but Warhead Arrow Co. Pretty cool stuff. If you guys are out there in the archery world, give it a few months, check him out. But anyway, back to the basics. What happened? Well, again, those of you guys that don't know, 2 months ago, 8 weeks ago, found out my dad had metastatic colon cancer. He went in with a stomach ache, had some appetite issues, wasn't eating very well, hadn't eaten in 2 or 3 days, took him to the hospital. They'd done a CT scan. 3 hours later, we find out he has metastatic colon cancer that has metastasized and moved to his liver. We spent the better part of 5 days in the hospital there for that stent. They tried to he had some blockage in his common bile duct. They ended up they were trying to put a stent in his bile duct and couldn't make that happen. So they ended up having to put what's known as a biliary tube through his side, through one of the lobes of his liver into his common bile duct, and that was draining bile out when they sent him home. And then they found out, a week later, I took him back for his first chemo treatment, and we walked in, and they done some pre-tests, some labs, and found out that his creatinine levels were through the roof, which means he was in renal failure and his kidneys were shutting down. And then he spent the next 14 days in the hospital, basically battling for his life. And that was the last time that I posted anything about this was then. I spent the better half of 12 days sleeping in a recliner in the hospital, which was not fun for anybody. I wouldn't recommend that to my worst enemy. It was terrible. I was getting up in the morning and going to work. It was just an absolute terrible time for everybody involved. But I watched my dad dwindle down to this thing that wasn't, he was my dad, but it was a shell of my dad, which was very hard for me to see. And then they basically come in and, for lack of better terms, said that we've done all we can do for you, and you have two options, and Dad chose to go home. And that was on Good Friday. We took him home Good Friday, and he spent Good Friday, Saturday, Sunday at his house. Then Monday, woke up on Monday with a blood pressure of like 86 over something. The hospice nurse came in. Everything was good throughout the day. He was kind of sluggish and wasn't talking a lot on Monday. And about 6:30 that evening, he ended up passing away. So, and then we had the funeral this past Saturday or Saturday before last. And, I had so much support from my buddies and stuff, which was amazing. But, so that's why I haven't been around. And obviously a lot of you guys know that. And that's why, I love you guys so much, is that you guys have been there through thick and thin. There's a lot of stuff that is coming into fruition that, that I saw these people gather around me, and it was people that are like-minded, like you guys, that like to fish and things. So again, I apologize for the quality of this, but I do want to get on here today and let you know what's happening is that I'm in the process of moving from this house now. I'm trying to sell this house that I live in right now and move like 3 miles from here, not even 3 miles, probably like a half a mile from here to my dad's house. It's where all my stuff's stored at anyway. Both my boats, Harley, my CB750, it just makes sense for me to move there. Missy and I will be making the transition very soon. But if you guys know anybody in the area and you are in our area here in Cold Grove area that is interested in a house, I'm selling my house. It's priced to sell. Somebody's going to have a nice house. I don't need to sell this thing. It's not because I want to. It's because I need to sell it. It's not because I want to. It's because I'm transitioning to another house. Not because I'm not fond of this house. Put a lot of work into it. Misty just done like $8,500 worth of upgrades to the kitchen. Super nice house. Just not going to work out. So that's what's going on. St. Clair in a week and a half. I'm going to a Justin Moore concert this Friday. Thanks to Stephen Chase. If you're out there, I appreciate it, buddy. It's going to be a good time. Sorry that you can't get in. We can't do some fishing. But I am in the process right now of getting back out on the water and getting my feet underneath me as far as fishing and creating videos again. I had a 100% goal of this year of just knocking videos out of the park, producing 2 a week. And, guys, sometimes life happens. And that's what happened this time. Matter of fact, the last time I think I went fishing was Thursday after my dad had passed away. Dusty and I went fishing to Grayson and had an absolute ball. I did record some of it. I'll probably put just a small video together about it, but you'll be seeing that in the coming days. But we caught a lot of fish. Dusty ended up catching one about 2.5, 3 pounds on a spinnerbait. And I caught a ton of fish on a Spro Little John Type R, which is the rattling Little John, in Rayburn Red, which is one of my favorite colors ever in the springtime. But I am telling you what, they were absolutely chewing this crankbait the other day, but they weren't big. They weren't even keepers. I think I caught 20 bass probably, but they were all, typical Grayson size, which was, it kind of sucked, but it was fun to get out on the water. And it was so much stress relief and so much, and I know I keep talking about my dad because he's fresh in my mind, but it's where I feel more close to him than ever anymore, is because we enjoyed fishing together so much. We enjoyed going on trips fishing. I'm so thankful that we got to spend the time last year at Lake St. Clair for the 4 days we went, and then Lake Erie for those days. And it was just like, it was so much fun and stuff that I'll never forget. Some of the photographs that I took during that week are some of the only photographs that I took of my dad in the last 10 years, which is, hindsight's 2020. But if you take away anything from this live stream, take away this, and it's me coming to you in a point where I wish I would have done things differently, is, don't be like I am. And like, I'm the type of guy that hates to be in photographs. If somebody says, hey, let me get your picture, I'm like, man, crap. And then I look back at these photos that I have, and 90% of the photographs that I have of my dad are like Polaroid or old school, like film stuff. And, that's been 25 years ago, 20 years ago, at least 20 years ago, probably like 25 years ago is the most recent photographs I have of my dad. And I do have some photographs, but not like I would like to have. The video, again, does do a lot for me. That's something that I have. But if you take any away from this thing, like, enjoy the time you have with people that you love, and document those things when you can. Video, photograph these things, and don't be the guy like I am that was like, hated to be in pictures and stuff. I get it. It sucks, man, sometimes, but you never know. We're not guaranteed tomorrow, ladies and gents, and you know that. So, enjoy your life. And another thing that it's taught me is that, I love my job as a teacher. Don't get me wrong. I don't want you guys to think that I don't, and I'm not knocking my job in any way. But I do know that, and it's not just my job, it's pretty much any job that you work, is that you're given these times to get off work, like vacation or personal days or sick days or what have you. And I was the type of guy who I never used any kind of days like that. And I just worked my rear end off. But as well as I do, as soon as you retire or something, God forbid, happens to you, they're going to have somebody in your place to replace you within weeks. You're not going to be able to replace the moments in time in your life. So one thing it's taught me is, like, enjoy those moments. I'm not saying go hog wild and buy $200,000 boats if you can't afford it, but it brings a whole new meaning to me working for what I love to do. Before, I'm not going to just call off willy-nilly, but I guarantee you whatever days they give me, personal days or whatever, I'm using them for sure. Just for the simple fact is that, I'm replaceable at a job. That's what it is. You work a job. Once you retire, they replace you with somebody else. Another thing that I saw from my dad that really taught me a lot in the last 6 months is that my dad had what's known as a single life pension plan. And it's really made me look into my retirement situation, not only as a YouTuber. Like, I would love to turn my YouTube career into my actual career. I'd love to be able to do this. I can't support my family on my YouTube income, or I would already do this. But one thing that I've noticed is that my dad had what's known as a single life annuity retirement plan. And basically, what that boils down to is that he worked 30 plus years of his life at one job, and he retired 6 years ago. He drew his retirement for 6 years. And, those 6 years of his life is all that he can draw, because that money just vanishes. He probably had upwards of he probably had $200,000 in an annuity. I would say at least that, and drew 6 years of it. And then, I contacted the company just to see what was going on with that money, because I figured, he worked for it. It would be better off in my pocket than it would be theirs. I don't need the money at all. I have a job and everything's good, but it really hit me hard when they told me that, that money just basically disappears. It goes back to the company. He worked 30 plus years of his life paying into a retirement, into a single life annuity. And as soon as he passed away, that money was gone. And it was really tough for me to take, because, I watched the way that it tore his body down, because he was a laborer at a factory here in town, or in Portsmouth, called Osco, for many, many years. And he would come home just absolutely black from head to toe, usually. Lost a finger in an accident there, and then got to draw $800 a month for 6 years of his life. And he worked 30 plus years of his life to draw that, and got to retire for 6 years and enjoy it. So again, I don't want to be negative Nancy or get down on you guys, but if you take anything from tonight, is, take it from my experience. Enjoy the time that you have if you're young enough to enjoy those things. It was one of the things that my dad said, and one of the last times we went, when he found out he was sick, he was like, Tyler, this is why I tell you to go fishing, go on vacation, do whatever you can, whatever you can afford. Don't live above your means, but you never know when your last day is coming. So don't do what I did, and don't wait until you're 65, 62 years old to start living life. He said, because at that point, it's probably too late. So, in the past couple of years, I've done that, and I'm so grateful for it. But it's been a good time. So I don't want to take up a ton of your guys' time on this beautiful Tuesday evening, but I did want to get on here and let you guys know that I am back. I will be back live, bigger and better than ever next Tuesday. You're going to see a small video on YouTube here in the next few days. Me and Dusty going out catching some fish at Grayson. But we're going to go to Lake St. Clair here in a couple of weeks. Not this weekend coming up, but next weekend after that. We're going to have an amazing time, no doubt, if we can get out on the water. That's usually the only time we don't have a good time, is if we can't get out on the water. But with that being said, guys, I don't want to spend a ton of time on here harping about how I'm sad I lost my dad. You guys know that. You know that I'm sad. And, it's going to take some time to get over. But I do want to thank you guys very, very much for the support that you guys have shown, whether that be messaging me on Facebook, personally messaging me through On Another Line, messaging me on Instagram, what have you. But I appreciate it. I'm going to try next week to go live on Facebook and YouTube at the same time like normal. Hopefully we'll get some more people in there. It seems like Facebook is where people want to watch this more than anything. Quality today sucks. So I appreciate you guys sticking around for as long as you have. Got a new Bantam at the tackle box waiting on me. The brand new one that was just released. It's the one with the infinity drive on it. So I'll be doing a in-depth review on that. I already have a review on it, but I didn't get to fish it. You guys will be seeing some fishing, and you will see my absolute opinion of it. So that's going to be a video that's going to be coming out very soon as well. But until then, guys, I appreciate you guys' support, and I'll be back. I'm glad that I'm back with you guys. I hope you guys are excited to get some more content from me, and I'm ready to get after it. Andrew, I'll get a hold of you tomorrow, man. Let's go fishing this weekend. appreciate it, Andrew. But like I said, I'll message you here tomorrow. We'll make some plans to go fishing this weekend. Probably be Saturday if you can make it. Sunday's Mother's Day. So I'll talk to you guys soon. If you guys can, get out there and lean on. We'll see you next time on Another Line.